Ladies and gentlemen, the meat of this video is going to revolve around the Cabinet Office because it's yet more evidence that the state has been completely packed with political activists masquerading as impartial civil servants. However, before I do that, there's a couple of minor incidents I'd just like to draw your attention to in case you missed them. First of all, here's some hippies covering a public building in urine. Because that's what perfectly reasonable people do in modern Britain.
It is piss, yeah. It's like a protest, dirty protest. If it gets me, I'm fucking knocking him out.
I love the Cockney bloke. It is piss, yeah. Ostensibly, that was a protest because one person who works for the UK Equality and Human Rights Commission referred to a trans activist as, I think he said, a bloke with lipstick on, which isn't really the crime of the century, is it? If he was found to be running a dungeon underneath the building and he was currently racking famous trans activists until the bones popped, you could possibly understand it. However, dousing a building in swamp in the middle of the day in London while some poor minimum wage security guard ineffectually ushers the gallon bottles of swamp out of the revolving door seems to be just genuinely disturbing and disgusting. I'm a bit strange like that, but bodily fluids, I've got no time for it. I hate seeing people spit. I don't like seeing people defecate in public. Anything to do with it sort of knocks me sick. And the annoying thing about that is just how toothless the forces of order have become in the UK. Because have you noticed, whenever you see something like that, you always see a copper or a security guard just sort of messing around on the periphery, doing nothing. They are toothless. They can't deal with it. People can drown you in the bodily fluids and you just have to like it. Because if you get too aggressive in dealing with the people that are doing it, you're the one that ends up in the nick. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Well, unless you're covered in some dirty hippies' bowel movements, at which point it's not funny at all, is it? Oh yeah, and also congratulations to one of my former colleagues in Reconnaissance Troop, 40 Commando Royal Marines, for being offered a role as the brand ambassador for North Face. If you know, you know. Basically, that bloke looks like a member of Recce Troop attending a company barbecue. Don't know why they dress that way, but they do. It's ironic that the company and the iconography that they use is associated with Mount Everest, because I would love to see you climb Mount Everest in a rainbow-coloured mini-skirt and a tank top. I'd love it. I'd love to see that. You'd have frostbitten testicles before you got halfway up it. But on to the news at hand. The associate editor at The Telegraph tweeted out, "Civil war at the top of the government tonight. Boris Johnson loyalists are furious about the Cabinet Office's referral of the ex-PM to 2 police forces. One minister tells me this is a complete stitch-up. I cannot believe it. It is an attack on democracy and due process." Well, I can believe it, Chopper. The general public can believe it, because those with eyes and ears have been talking about this for years. The root of it goes back to Blair. But for 20 years, they've been packing the civil service with full-blown activists. It's why the judiciary's shockingly incompetent and politically active, why the College of Policing advocates only prosecuting people whose politics you don't like. It's why grooming gangs made up of a very particular ethnic group didn't get prosecuted, despite the fact they were diddling and torturing thousands of children. It's why Mizzy got to have the run of the streets for weeks and nobody did anything about it, because he looked a certain way. If he was a ginger joiner from Scunthorpe, he'd have got arrested 2 hours after he stole his first dog. Anyway, to dig down a little bit deeper into the Cabinet Office, who are they? Well, the Cabinet Office is ostensibly responsible for supporting the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. Yeah, supporting the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, i.e. the guy who wins the election is supposed to be supported by the Cabinet Office. What he isn't supposed to be is get knifed in the back by the Cabinet Office, and I don't want to defend Boris Johnson, But them's the rules. If you're a member of the Cabinet Office and your sole responsibility seems to be finding nefarious ways to slip a knife between your boss's kidneys, despite the fact the boss is the guy that got the most votes in a free and fair election, might I suggest the civil service is operating outside of its remit. As of December 2021, it had over 10,200 staff, mostly civil servants, lying oily snakes in the grass. Over 10,000 people getting paid a fair salary with plenty of benefits to actively work against the people that are supposed to be running the country. Just think about it. And if you want to see some more evidence about the kind of people that are working for this department, have a look at this. Rachel Reeves' husband, Nicholas Joycey, works in the Cabinet Office. You do remember who Rachel Reeves is, don't you? You must remember Rachel. Here's one of my videos about the erstwhile Miss Rachel Reeves from a couple of years ago. I can sum Rachel Reeves up in 10 seconds.
Is it transphobic to say only women have a cervix?
Look, is it transphobic? Look.
Yeah, that's Rachel Reeves for you. Like James O'Brien's tickling a minge under the desk when she's trying to answer a question. Are you having a laugh? These are the nimrods that work for the British government, and her husband's in the Cabinet Office. So what do you think he's trying to do? The husband of an opposition cabinet member. Think about it. Guardian journalist Pippa Creerar's husband, Tom Whitehead, works in the Cabinet Office. ITV News editor Paul Brand's husband, Joe Cuddonford, works in the Cabinet Office. Labour's favourite revolving door chief of staff, Sue Gray, worked in the Cabinet Office. I think I see the problem. So does anybody with a hole in their arse, mate. It's painfully obvious. So to sum up, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a conspiracy theory, it's a known fact. The state, the civil service, the judiciary, the activist lawyers, the BBC, the mainstream media, it's a stitch-up. They are actively working behind the scenes to install woke leadership and throw out anybody who stands against them. Might I suggest that's not really what democracy is supposed to be all about. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Had you heard of the Cabinet Office? As I've said many times, the people you elect aren't in charge. It's the slimy little rats whose faces you never see that you really want to be worrying about. Anyway, thanks for watching. I apologise I've been away a lot of late. I've been a busy Bootneck, but I'm back. I'll put some more content up this week. Thanks for liking it and sharing it, and I will see you all very soon. Cheers.